Good morning, guys. Welcome to Academy 18, back to live weekly coaching. We are so excited to be back. For those of you that don't know Landon, you're gonna meet Landon and get tons of Landon, at least half of Landon, right? Or so half me, half Landon every week. And we're gonna be taking you guys through some different stuff this morning and really for the next probably through the end of the year, maybe even into January. We're going to be going really tightly through my coaching program. Elisa has been through it. I don't know when was that? A couple years ago, and so it'll be a great refresher for you. There'll be lots of new things, and this is all about you guys. So as we do these, we want y'all to be engaged. We want you to ask questions. We want this to be collaborative, not me or Landon teaching at you guys, because we grow better when we're having conversations and when we're talking and all that good stuff. And so all that I ask is that we're attentive and doing our best to pay attention and be present and not be checking email and looking at our phones, because that's what I'm prone to do. And then we get to the end and we're like, well, I think I learned something, but I'm not 100% sure. And so, as you guys know, social media is wildly valuable to what we're trying to do through our businesses, getting in front of people, connecting with people, more so than creating new relationships, but enhancing and growing the relationships that we already have. And so one of the things that I think is important for us to really talk through is the concept of lead preservation over lead generation. Right? If we need new leads, there are ways to use social media to do that. Most of the time, that's going to be through running a Facebook ad, right? Spending money in the digital world. But where most of us struggle is with literally just showing up enough in front of our people so that they remember what we do when their decision to buy comes up, so that we're thought of first. And that's really our goal. And so what I want us to go through today is really dig into our avatar, because I know that I'm always critiquing and changing and shifting who I want to attract and what that looks like. But as we jump into this, my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is, stop hoping to reap from the seeds you didn't sow. Y'all know this as good as any, that every coaching program sucks if you don't do the work. And every coaching program can be awesome if you do the work. And what I have been guilty of, maybe what you've been guilty of, is signing up for the program, buying the gym membership, and then just assuming it's going to start working. And the reality is the gym membership means nothing until I actually show up there and put in the work. And I start sweating and I start making things happen. And so what I see far too often is the people that go, hey, Kyle, I did 2 videos. When am I going to start to see some results? Well, probably not yet. That's not how this works. Hey, Landon, I went to the gym 2 days this week. When am I going to start dropping those LBs? It doesn't work like that. We've got to be patient with the way that we do this. And so as we jump into our avatar, and I'm going to put this, we're going to send you guys the PDF of this so that you have it. I didn't want to give it to you yet because I knew y'all be looking ahead and not paying attention to me. And selfishly, I wanted the attention on myself. So I haven't given you this document yet. But when we start to develop our avatar, we probably have multiple avatars, right? For those of you that are in real estate, you're going to have a buyer avatar. You may have a seller avatar. Those are probably different. You probably should have a partner avatar. Like, who do you want to partner with? What do you want the roofer to look like that you work with? What do you want the title rep to be like? How old do you want your mortgage partners to be? Right? So that you're not just out there trying to find anybody and everybody that you can connect to. And so what this really does for me is this helps me know who I'm allowed to say no to. Because as we get busier and as people want our attention more, we have to figure out where do we have that room to go, you know what? I appreciate you asking me, but that's really not my focus right now. And I can politely bow out. And so some of the questions that I like to ask, and when y'all have questions, guys, just jump in and ask whenever you wish. But some of these questions are very specific. Some of these questions are very simple. But I think the first question has to be, how old are they? Because this gives us so much value just by understanding the age of our people. This tells us what platform they're on. This begins to tell us what season of life they could possibly be in. And so I like to know within 10 years, who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal referral partner? Who is your ideal business partner, being one of the different trades that's a part of our industry. And now we can begin to reverse engineer. Is this a Facebook person? Is this more of an IG crowd? Do I need to be over on TikTok? Do I need to spend more time on YouTube? Because guys, let me tell you right now, you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be everywhere. You can push content to different places if you have it, but the goal isn't for you to be intentionally focused on every platform. Right now, for me personally, I've moved a lot of my attention to LinkedIn. And so I'm spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. And I'm still posting content to Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, but I'm spending my intentional time leveraging LinkedIn to see over the next 90 days what I can do with it, because I believe it's been an underutilized platform for me. So are they married? Do they have kids? Right? This impacts our content. This impacts the way we should coach and teach content if we're talking to single people versus married people. And so I believe it matters as we are building this out. I think we also need to ask ourselves, what do they do for fun? Because as some of you know, I know some of you are newer than others, guys, our content has to be bigger than just what we do for a living. We have to be able to showcase to people who we're about, what we do in ways that is more enjoyable than just, hey, here's 3 tips on how to buy a house. Nobody cares until they know you care. And the only way for people to know that and for that relationship to develop is to put out content that they care about. And so what do they do for fun matters. I think we also have to look at it from the angle of, what do you enjoy doing for fun? Because we can build our avatars in 2 ways. We can go uniquely to them, or we can also say, I just want to have a better understanding of who I am, and I want to attract people that are like-minded to me. So I'm not going to go out there and jump through hoops for other people. I just want to develop, what do I like? What am I passionate about? What do I do for fun? What did I used to worry about before I stopped worrying? And we can develop an attraction from people that are like us. So for me, right, having been a pastor, being a big fan of Jesus, loving him with all my heart, when I speak about him, when I create content about him, that's for me. And I know that through speaking those words, through doing those videos, through posting those graphics, that type of person is going to find attraction to me. So this is for them, but it's also about us. We need to ask ourselves also, guys, what are they worried about? If we're not careful, we get so selfish in the way we do content. We make it all about us. And so you're posting your closings, your new listing, your pending, your vacation, your new car, right? Everything is about you. And if it's always about you and it's never about others, you're going to waste your time on social media. It's not going to work. And so we need to be able to articulate, what are our people worried about right now? Because you know what I watch realtors do a ton, in the height of COVID, you know what every realtor was still posting about? Buying house. Like literally, somebody just posted about their uncle died of COVID. And you're over here posting about, does anybody want to buy a house? And so we have got to be more situationally aware of what's going on around us, what's going on in our world, in our city, in our tight community, in our kids' schools, so that we don't come across as these tone deaf people that have no idea what's going on. Some other simple questions. What type of shows would they watch? Again, this is playful and fun. We've got to create connection. Guys, quit being a closet watcher of some of your trashy shows. Right? Everybody's like, oh man, I don't let people know, but I love Real Housewives. Guess what? So do millions of other people. And so if you made a fun post about, hey guys, I got to admit something to you. I have a secret obsession with Real Housewives OC. Guys, you will have people flood your comments going, oh, me too. Oh my gosh, I'm glad somebody else said it. This is how we connect with people. What podcast do they listen to? This is going to help us understand like what type of learning they're interested in. If we can get an idea of what they're listening to, who they're paying attention to, this allows us to see like what personality types are they attracted to when they're ready to learn. If I can mimic some of that style of content, I'm going to have a greater opportunity to get in front of them. Another great question is what type of content do they consume? Are they into Reels? Are they going to be paying attention to YouTube? Right? What are you wanting to put in front of them? Who are their
ChatGPT answer those questions?
Yeah. Edie, ChatGPT is unbelievable. And we're gonna dig deep into ChatGPT too. Landon and I have about a 20-page document that has all these ChatGPT prompts. I was blown away the other day. Well, I'll go down a rabbit hole and then it'll be 10:30 and I'll be like, and here's Landon as we learn nothing today. So don't get me too excited because then I'm gonna have to share something else and get off course. But yes, ChatGPT, I mean, every data point in existence is a part of what they're able to do. I've actually had a lot of people say they even like Bard better, which is essentially ChatGPT through Google. I haven't used Bard much, but I mean, let me just tell you guys what I did the other day, and I'll do it very fast. I did a 7-step prompt. So most of us, we just ask a question and let ChatGPT answer if we're using it. But it's learning as we go. So I made up a prompt that said, I'm a realtor in Des Moines, Iowa. I specialize in buying and selling houses. My favorite client is a first-time home buyer. Develop me an avatar based on that information. So boom, they gave me Jason and Allison Smith. One of them was 29 years old and had this job. One's 28 years old and has this job. They have an average income of $85,000. And it gives me all this stuff. And then I prompted it to build me a marketing plan based on that avatar. So then boom, marketing plan. Then I prompt it to, through the eyes of my avatar, tell me the parts of my marketing plan that they wouldn't like. And so now it gives me all these suggestions. They would think this is too salesy. They would think this is this. And then I prompted it, now rewrite it based on their suggestions. And guys, by the end of this thing, the last thing I was able to do is write me a 6-email sequence to attract my ideal client. And then boom, it wrote me 6 emails. It had emojis in them. And I mean, it's unbelievable. But we have to understand how to prompt it to give us the results that we want, because it's not a mind reading platform. And so that's where we struggle is, we just don't quite understand how to get the best out of it. So we're going to deep dive into that, and it's just mind blowing. Then from that, I could say, write me 10 LinkedIn posts based on this information. Boom. I'll have 10 LinkedIn posts just like that. It's so cool. And so I would encourage you guys, if you're watching a TV show before you go to bed, like you're winding down, just pull it up and start typing stuff in there. And it's mind-blowing what it comes up with. The last couple of questions that I want us to think about when it comes to Avatar is, what would they benefit from learning from you? So this is where we have to be honest with ourselves and really ask ourselves, like, what am I qualified to teach? And we don't need to ask ourselves this based on our competition, right? You're not qualifying yourself based on another realtor, another lender. You're qualifying yourself based on the consumer that you serve. Because I run into too many realtors that are like, well, like I just haven't been doing luxury for that long. But have you done it longer than the consumer? Because that's who we're trying to serve. If you know more than them, you have value to offer. One of the most profound moments for me as a business owner was 8 or 9 years ago when I started coaching and teaching social media. And I thought, what do realtors need? What are they going to learn from me? I'm a roofer. Like, that's what I've been doing. And what God said to me was, Kyle, if you know 1% more than them, you always have something of value to offer. So you don't need to go be the expert. You don't need to write the book. You just need to know a little bit more, and you'll always have something to teach. And so the greatest way to learn is to teach. And so a big thing for your content moving forward is going to be, what are you learning? Teach about it. And don't try to sneak in and teach it as an expert. Teach it as a student. We don't have to be seen as the expert all the time. We're allowed to show up sometime and go, guys, check this out. I was just reading this book today, and oh my gosh, look at what I'm learning. Nobody goes, oh, you're learning? Oh, yeah, I don't know if we're going to be a great fit. Nobody thinks like that. It positions you from a place of humility, because aren't we annoyed by the person that always shows up as the expert? And then doesn't that put a lot of pressure on me if I convince myself like I have to be the expert all the time? And so now, when am I ever going to show up? Because if deep down inside I think I have to be the expert, but I know that I'm not, this is a struggle for us. And so I would make a list, and my favorite way to start drawing things out is like this. This is called a spider web. And so, like, this is how I used to write my sermons. This is how I write my classes, where I just drop in the middle, like, what am I qualified to teach? Pick a topic. And then just start vomiting every idea from your head onto this piece of paper. Everything. And some of them will be good ideas. Some of them will be bad ideas. Some of them need to go directly to the trash can. But we just need to get all of it out there so that now I can look at it and I can begin to see what I can teach. And then, guys, I can look at like one spot, and then this could become 4 other ideas. And this is such a simple way to start creating content and seeing an actual roadmap in front of you of what you want to educate people on. I mean, that's how this course came about, that I called the collaborative. From just getting ideas on paper and then beginning to orchestrate it and put it in order. And so you should have multiple things that you can teach people, both related to your industry and outside of your industry. Yesterday, I got to teach to an entire company, a title company, and they were all concerned about social and video and what do we do? And so I made them go around the room and tell me, like, what did you do before title? And they all went around and gave their answers. None of them thought that content was fair game. One of the guys had been in health and fitness for 25 years. One of the women had been a stay-at-home mom for 17 years. You should have seen how dejected she felt when she said that. Oh, I was a stay-at-home mom for 17 years. And I had to get in her face and be like, who is more trustworthy than a stay-at-home mom? Who's more organized than a stay-at-home mom? Who cares more deeply for people than a stay-at-home mom? All right, like, you possess all the qualities that all of us want. Yet the world has said you're less than because you're a stay-at-home mom versus somebody who's out working in the business world. When our past stories, our past businesses, jobs are where a lot of our content should come from. And so think about that as we continue to process through this. The last question on this page is, what goals can you help them achieve? So we can't understand their goals without asking them that question. And so I would encourage you guys, as you're meeting with new people, ask them, hey, we're in the last quarter of the year. Like, what are your big goals that you want to wrap up before the year's over? You will be blown away at how you will be remembered for the good questions you ask. From running a podcast, I love when the people I'm talking to, when they go, oh man, wow, I haven't thought about that before. That's a great question. Because I know I'm tapping into an area of their life that most people haven't tapped into. So I'm making myself more memorable by the questions that I ask. So think about it like this. You're going to do a video about rates. Yay, every other realtor lender is going to as well. What if instead of making the video about rates, what if you instead decided, let me give you a couple questions to ask yourself to know if you're ready to buy a house? So you're not telling them, now's the best time to buy a house. You're giving them questions to begin to self-assess whether they're ready or not. And because you're the expert of this, you're going to give them a couple questions that they're going to go, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that question. And now you're giving them things to think about, not just shoving information in your face and hoping that they're going to make the right decision. So we've got to do this different. And y'all have heard the Zig Ziglar quote, right? That says, if we help enough people get what they want, we're going to get what we want. And so if we would make the desire or create the desire for this last quarter of the year, let's use our social media to serve people, not serve ourselves. And so let's make it about helping others versus, did I get enough views? Did I get enough likes? Did anybody respond to that video? We've got to create a safe space before people are going to start showing up. And most realtors and lenders that I know, your social media is anything but a safe space. And so we got to work on this. So before we keep going for 5 more minutes on social media and marketing piece, any thoughts or questions? Speak now or never speak again, ever.
I just had another quote like your first one. It's similar to what your first one was.
Yeah.
The one you gave us about the stop hoping to reap.
Yeah.
Kim Dean gave me one the other day that I posted on my Facebook because I like putting quotes out there. Is do not get mad at the results that you did not work for.
Come on.
Like that really hit me when she said that.
It's good. You know, I mean, I know I'm guilty of going, good night. You know, when are things going to go my way? Like, I've been putting in the work. I've been doing the things I need to be doing. But the reality is there's always more that I could be doing, I could have done. And then on top of that, we don't deserve anything. And so that's huge. We got to get over it. And this is going to be so that quote's so powerful for what we're doing for social media, because we're already on thin ice with people. And so we start creating content, and because you've probably been doing social media poorly, your friends are watching from a distance going, okay, when's the sales pitch coming? When are you going to try to lure me in? And so they're waiting from a distance to see if we're going to actually create real value or not, be a real human being. But then we get antsy and we want this to start working 3 days later, and it just doesn't work like that. This is a process, right? Like, if you grow corn, you don't go outside every single day and go, where's the corn? I don't see the corn yet. What, did I buy faulty corn? No, you understand that there's a process, there's a harvest, but it takes some time. And we understand this in certain areas of our lives, but when it comes to social media, I watch people quit so fast because you're putting all this pressure on something that doesn't deserve it. And then you start robbing people of the value that you have to offer. So I want to jump into this real quick, and then we will live here next week. And so this is kind of homework, is I want you guys to develop what your pillars are. And again, I'll send this entire PDF. It's like 60 something pages to you guys after this, because I didn't want you to have it yet. But do a little bit of homework on what do your pillars look like. My 6 core pillars are family, your family / friends. We can even say / pets need to be a part of your content. My favorite way for this to play out is in the background of another pillar. I'll deep dive into that next week. But if your family isn't on your content, you're missing opportunity to be in front of people and to be connected to people. Your passions. What are you passionate about? You should have a pillar dedicated to that. Your daily life. This is where your stories on Facebook and Instagram should be played out. Right? So you might choose to do outfit of the day, put it in your stories. What'd you eat for lunch? Put it in your stories. Who'd you meet with today? Put it in your stories. Your daily life should be represented in your stories. That's the easiest content you have. Inspiration and leadership is another pillar. You need to be an inspiring person to other people, in my opinion, if you want people to pay attention to you on social media. And so if you're just good at sales, that's great. If you want to go call for sell by owners and expireds, but that's not going to win you anybody on social media. And so we've got to be able to inspire and lead. And we're going to dig deeper into that. You need to be the digital mayor of your town. When somebody says your city, Edie, you're moving to Lubbock, right? You're opening up that market. You need to be known 6 months from when you move there as the mayor of Lubbock, because everything you do is Lubbock related. People, food, places. We'll dig into that more. And then the final pillar is your business education. We've got to stop selling on social media and instead educate. Showcase to people that we are indeed the expert of what we do. And the cool part about social is we become known for what we talk about the most. So if you want to be known for tacos, talk about tacos. If you want to be known for real estate, talk and educate about real estate. So we're going to dig deep into pillars next week. We're going to do a hard stop. It's 10:30. So Landon's been waiting for 30 minutes for me to shut up so that he can dig deep into real estate related coaching. And guys, let me just tell you this about Landon, because most of you do not know him. You know me, and you do not know him. Landon is one of my best friends. He's my business partner. He has been a top producing agent for a long time. He then started his own brokerage. He leads over 100 agents and growing. And he is truly one of the most talented yet humble people I have ever met. And so it is an honor to do this together. And I'm excited to just sit back and relax and see what he has to say today. So, bro, take it away.
Well, hey, I appreciate the introduction. I really do. That's probably higher praise than I would have given, as you know. But no, I'm excited because a lot of the things that you spoke about are also directly related to the topic that I wanted to discuss today. And it's the idea of like, where are we in the year, right? We're in Q4. Prep for 2024 started 2 days ago, right? Q4, October 1st. My point is that what we do in a 30-day window shows up in a 90-day window. We've heard that, blah, 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 good. But if we're going to take off the holidays and the slower season, then we're really not going to get started until January, which means we probably may not have business until March. And so one thing that occurred to me as I was taking my notes, Kyle said, stop hoping to reap. I think this is what it was. Stop hoping to reap from the seeds you did not sow. And then I draw a comparison between there and something, Kyle, we've talked about this. I talk about this with a lot of people. I actually hired, I don't know if he's like a dietitian. I should probably know what I paid for, but like a dietitian, someone to help with workout, with whatever. I say whatever generally in the weight loss arena. I want to be a certain percent body fat, right? I want to weigh what I want to weigh. And a lot of times, what I've found over the years, my 10-year anniversary in real estate was 2 days ago. And what I have found over the years, what I have found over the years is that there is no, there is nothing short of the drastic approach. Well, I've been kicking this can of weight loss down the road, and I'm speaking to myself because this has been me. Man, I've been kicking this down the road. I really do need to have been started 3 months ago, but it was hot, and then I was lazy, and then the kids had practice, and then I had appointments, and then fill in the blank with all these excuses when in fact I could have prepared to win the next day, to win that next week. And it comes in our preparedness. Yet we sit there and say, well, on Monday, I'm going to start doing this. Or by golly, I've got the commitment and determination to start it right now. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat 1 meal a day. That'll solve all my problems. Let me tell you what's not sustainable. Eating 1 meal a day. Right? We try to rush to that end result. So now let's compare that to work. Let's turn back into our craft, the thing that earns us money and feeds our family, puts food on the table, takes us on vacations. And we say, I've been kicking the can down the road with lead generation because maybe I'm scared to be on social. Maybe I'm scared to go to a networking event. Maybe I don't choose to pick up the phone and call for sale by owners. Great. All that is fine. But then we take this drastic do or die approach that is not sustainable. And we think, man, I've got to generate 10 leads this week or I'm not going to be in business next week. When in fact, we could have been taking, and I'm going to explain something from a call we had back in July. We start taking that bare minimum approach when in fact that's going to help lead to consistency. So Kyle and I had a guest on back in July, Curtis Cooper Smith, and he said, find your best average day. What is your best average day? Because a quote that I love is consistently good versus occasionally great. And the occasionally great would probably, the game Plinko would probably work its way down to the occasionally great day is probably after you've been doing nothing, right? And so we have that great day. We hop on the phone. We do whatever it is that we do that we've been taught for lead generation or leaning into something that works. When in fact, if we could craft the best average day, am I asking you or telling you to be average? No. You can go be all the things. You can go sell 50 houses in a year. If you want to sell 4 and that just tickles your socks clean off your body, then great, go sell 4. That's what brings you joy. That's what makes you happy. But ultimately, we need to be sure that we are crafting our tasks and our duties and our activities to mirror or at least lead to the results that we want. I know that we've all heard this before, but as we're getting ready for 2024, I think we would all dare to say that we want to be a better version of ourselves in 2024. That's what New Year's resolutions are for, right? And so as we approach that, as we are getting ready for that, my question would be, where do you want to be better? Because for anyone on this call today that carries a real estate license, guess what? So do I. And I can do the exact same job that you do. And I can talk to inspectors, and I can open doors, and I can send contracts to title. I can do all of those things, but I cannot duplicate your humanity. You cannot duplicate my humanity. I could give you my database that has spit out millions and millions of dollars in production over the years, and it would fall apart in your hands. And you could hand me your database, whether it's good or bad. And I would simply, the premise is I would not take care of your people the way that you take care of your people. So the question we always ask ourselves is, where can we be better? How do I stand out? How do I be different? A lot of what Kyle was talking about with the questions he had, who is our target audience? Who's our avatar? Right? We get into, I saw all of those questions. I did not enter the space that I'm about to tell you, but there's a chance that maybe you did. And I've said this before. There is fight, there is flight, and there is freeze. And a lot of times, for instance, if I were looking at all of those questions about my avatar, and we've got the ideas of 2024 is coming, but yet I need a closing really soon, which means I need to do lead generation, but we've got soccer practice, and the water heater went out at the house, and on and on and on. Not excuses, it is life. So then, though, we lean back into, what is my best average day? What is that? Man, is that 5 new contacts? Is that 1 video on social media? What does that look like? Is it 2? Is it a post on all of your platforms once per day? I don't know, but I do know that simply taking action, taking that next step, is what will get you out of the rut. You may not be in a rut. You may be flying high right now, but what could derail the person flying high right now is not taking that next step. You start building that momentum. You start pushing that ball, that boulder up the mountain to gain that momentum. And we tend to let off of the gas whenever we feel like we've got it crested the hill. And that's a hard thing to do. And I was thinking about this the other day. I have a rather long commute to the office. And so I listen to podcasts and really just spend time with myself. And I was thinking, there is a really good opportunity for those that are willing to do the work, that are willing to take that next step. And for anyone that's heard me teach or speak before, that is what I'm all about, because it's what I can control. We don't like being out of control. We don't like not having all of the answers. And so again, we take these drastic approaches. We have these limiting beliefs that if we go out and do something different on social media, we reach out in a different way, we engage with our people in a different way, we are probably afraid that, hey, well, that you're going to hear, well, hey, you've never done video before. Hey, you've never reached out to me before. What's going on? What do you need? Hey, you've never done this, right? When in fact, it's like, okay, well, excuse me for growing, right? Excuse me for wanting to grow my business or engage with my people, whatever that looks like. And then we have the delayed gratification aspect. Kyle said in his first 30 minutes that a lot of people will post 1, 2 videos and say, hey, when is something going to happen? Well, if anyone's ever tried to lose weight before, you don't do it for 1 day and see the result. It's that consistent, dedicated action to the end result. So for me, finding, and I've said this a million times, but finding that best average day, I'm hoping to draw these together for you, allows you to do what you need to do to move the needle in your business. And that's what we care about, right? We care about finding that consistency. I was talking with an agent friend of mine, not at at the brokerage here. And we were talking about how a lot of agents thinks, well, the grass is greener over there. There's something they're doing different. There's a training that they offer that my company doesn't. There's exposure to X, Y, and Z. There's technology. There's this, there's that. When in fact, and he said this, and he's not really a hot take guy, so I thought it was pretty funny. He said the grass is green in your own database, simply meaning the grass is green where you put your focus. The grass is green where you spend your time. So for those that don't know, I love archery. I love bow hunting, but this can work for fishing, for hunting, for golf, for mountain biking, for quilting, right? I threw that in there. These are all my hobbies. Quilting is my mom's hobby. But ultimately, we don't sit there and say, man, I'm going to go cast out into this lake or river or wherever you are. I'm going to go make a cast, and you reel back with nothing. You say, well, cool, man. We gave it a solid effort. I guess we'll just come out again in a few weeks and maybe try to hit a different weather pattern, whatever fishermen do. And we'll just try to catch one then. When in fact, a line in the water is far more valuable than one time in, one time out. A few days go by, well, I'll try it again, right? I don't go hunting and harvest an animal that's going to feed my family for the next 6 to 10 months. I don't do that on one sit. I hunted 46 times last year before I harvested anything. I know that because I track all of my hunts, and what happened and what I saw is just a passion of mine. But for golf, I don't go get good by going to the range one time, slicing it to the right, hooking it to the left. Well, I guess this is how you play golf. I'll come out and maybe try it in a few more weeks and see what happens. That's not how that works. That's not the case. And so the encouragement would be to have your line in the water, to be giving yourself those opportunities and those at bats, because a lot of times we look back and we say, well, this is not working for me. This is not something I'm capable of doing. And so, and I hear that from time to time. And so I don't challenge the person. I challenge the mission. The mission is to get business. The mission is to earn income. The mission is to close deals. So I'm not necessarily challenging the person, bringing me their complaint or frustration. But a lot of times that question is, well, what have you done? Right? And then I, in a helpful way, in a tactful, respectful way, start poking holes in that. Okay, well, you did open houses. How has that gone? What has your feedback been? Are you tracking it? After tracking it, if you did that, praise the Lord if you did. If you did that, what does your feedback tell you, and where should you make a pivot? Well, it got real hot over the summer, and putting out those signs just really wore me out. Okay, it is hard for me, and I'm not a hard arse person, but it is hard for me to have sympathy for that person. One single scenario, I know, one single scenario, but you're out of your car for 2.5 minutes and you slam it in the ground and you go to the next corner and you've got AC in your car, and then you're inside a house with AC for the open house, but yet it's too hot outside to be consistent in an area that we know we can get business because we wrote an offer 3 weeks ago from an open house that we did. And so we sit there and play this game of, well, I did enough. I earned it. The action I should have taken 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago, that really should have taken off by now. And so overall, as I bring this to a close for us, the entire premise of this is to be asking ourselves, that was part of Kyle's too, is to be asking yourself, who's your avatar, right? Who are you speaking to? What information can you gather about them? How can you use technology? ChatGPT is what was mentioned. How can you use that technology to better interact with your people? If not, create content for you. You have to deliver it, but technology can help create that for you. That was one half. My half, the encouragement, is to take that next step. I don't know what that looks like. Hopefully this right here, this weekly accountability is helpful with that. We're obviously not saying, hey, everyone, show your work. What'd you do this week? Did you do it? Did you do it? That's obviously not the point. The point, though, is for us to be focused on the craft or the duty or the role that we play, whether you're a lender or realtor or in title. We have to keep swinging that axe. You're not going to go out and fall a tree in one swing. You've got to go over and over and over in the same spot, and it's difficult. Why is it difficult? Because basically in our DNA at this point is the click it now, get it tomorrow or this afternoon because I am close enough to the Amazon distribution center. Right? And if I click this now, I can get it now. And delayed gratification is a huge part. My initial comparison was weight loss and lead generation, weight loss and business in real estate. It is very rare that you do the action and get an immediate result. So yes, thick skin, tough skin, all of that is going to play a role in what it is that you're trying to achieve. And even more hard, this is the other thing I thought about the other day, even more hard is the thought of, well, man, we really sprinted in 2020 and in 21 and up until May of 2022 because rates were basically zero. Not really. But okay, so you mean to tell me, Landon, that we sprinted for all that time, but now the market has shifted somewhat with rates being higher. We're now into the fall months. Sports have started. So now I need to try even harder to get more business. And then, Lord willing, they're going to lower rates, which will give us more business, which is more work to do, more places to be, more houses to show, more contracts to write. And so I'll end with this, all of that, right? You can see in that illustration, holy crap, the work never stops. Is that what you're trying to say? And I want to leave you with this, and that is pace versus push. Push is aggressive. Push is friction. Push is tension. And there is a season for that. There is a time for that in your business, and it may be now. And that's okay. But your best average day and pace go really, really well together. That might mean that because you track your business and your stats, you know exactly how you need to be pacing along. And you may look back 90 days from now and be like, man, I've gotten some business, but that's not the normal pace in which I get business. So maybe there's a little bit of a push, which on a timeline could look like a speed bump where you ramp up activity, you give a little bit more effort, you talk to 2 more people a day than you have been, you post 2 more times per week than you have been, you attend 1 more networking event, you get the point, but you get up and over that hump and then you pace at that pace. So pace versus push. Kyle, I'm done, man. That's what I had.
Good stuff, bro. So everybody knows and understands we have now 2 different Academy 18 opportunities every week. We have our Monday night podcast recording that we stream live. You can be on there, you can ask questions, you can be a part of the conversation. And then we have our weekly coaching now. We're moving it around every week because, you know, the last season we did Wednesdays at noon, and there were always people that are like, man, lunchtime is just not usually good for me. And so there'll be 10 a.m. sessions, there'll be 2 p.m. sessions. And so you'll know in advance. Landon, I think we already have them through, didn't we do them through December already?
No, through November.
Or through November?
At the least, yeah.
So we'll get all the dates sent out through November so that you'll know when they are. And if you happen to miss, it'll be recorded and then it'll be put in Basewell. All of you should have access to Basewell. And so you can log in through Basewell. The website's basewell.com. And just so y'all know, the founder of Basewell, the CEO of Basewell, is Landon's mentor. He is a friend of both of ours. We were actually like agent 0.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's already thousands of people on the platform now. They just launched and we're client 0. And so it's been pretty cool. they log in uniquely. You'll never log in with a password and username. You'll go to basewell.com, log in, insert your email, and then it'll send you an email with a button to actually get into the system.
And
So
I think, Kyle, not to
Yeah.
confuse anyone, I think Evan said at some point, one of their iterations, one of their changes in time will be that there, I believe, will be an option to have a username and password. For now, irrelevant. You do put in your email. You do go to your email, click on it, and hit sign in.
yeah.
Anyway,
So it's a little different than we're used to logging in. It's safer, it's more protective. But inside of there, we put all of our recordings. Inside of there, there's already over 200 videos that Landon and I have done training on different topics specifically. If you want to go deep dive on a specific thing that you need help with, that there's so much available to you. We have an Academy 18 Facebook group that our goal is for that to become a better and better environment for us to communicate and help one another and serve and create accountability. Because what you're going to see with Landon and I is this is not about us, right? There's a lot of coaches out there that are all about themselves. We're here to serve you. So if it requires us to speak to do so, we will. But we also believe that all of us would have better businesses if we were just simply more consistent and held to a greater accountability than we currently are. And so we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to do a whole lot more than give you very sound advice that at times we need for ourselves, and then create high accountability for you to go out and do what you say you're going to do, or what you've said you're going to do for a year, 3 years, 5 years. Anybody have any thoughts or questions before we wrap up?
Quick question. On the video, you had said that you wanted to live stream so you could give people a taste. When you couldn't live stream, I had an idea. I'd love to be able to share the video out on a TikTok or a post today and give them the link to the
Sure.
actual website to sign up. But I'd like for them to reach out to me for a taste of what they could have.
Okay.
And if you could share that, then I'll be able to share that.
I'll get this loaded on YouTube today, and it'll be public just for this one session, so that, and I'll send you the link. That way you can share it with anybody that you'd like to. Thank you for doing that, Edie.
yes, thank you very much.
All right, cool. Guys, thanks for being on today. We hope you got something out of it. If you need us for anything, you know where to find us, and we'll see y'all real soon. Bye, guys.